Hey guys, it's David here, and it's currently day 46. Hopefully, you guys had an amazing day, doing better than yesterday. But that being said, guys, today is Monday. And like I said yesterday, today I'm going to start cold calling again, right? I'm going to reinitiate that habit, which I kind of took a break from for a whole week, right? And I guess the question would be, how was it cold calling again, after a whole week of not cold calling to going back to cold calling? Well, the initial first call was, I guess, somewhat, heart aching, that feeling, you get that nerve, that anxiousness, but, that feeling comes all the time with, cold calling and doing something you're not used to. But, that feeling obviously subdues after you make that call, after you approach that person, or after you do that thing that you're not used to, right? And obviously, I knew and I said to myself, look, this fear or this feeling I'm feeling right now isn't real, right? And I know the consequences of not doing it will be far greater than, putting it off for another day, right? Because, of course, I cannot delay it more, right? I cannot not cold call or not do the work because my body is telling me that they're not comfortable going with what I got to say, right? So pick up the phone, just called, and it was just how I imagined to be. It was absolutely amazing. I missed it. Of course, I didn't call 100 clients right away. I called about 30. And, obviously tomorrow I'm going to bump it up by 10 cold calls each day until I get back to 100 by the end of this week, right? And the reason I'm starting small is because I want to get back into it, right? I want to get used to it. And like I said before, right, if you take a break, you don't want to just go back where you left off. You want to kind of, you know, at least come back 50% or less or more and kind of, slowly climb your way back up, right? Because the last thing you want to do, right, is come back from a long ass break and, expect yourself to call just as much people you did when you're at your peak, right? And that can be daunting and that sometimes discourages us to act. But when you set like a smaller number, in my case, 30 cold calls, it was very well manageable, right? And I actually found myself to not procrastinate by doing less cold calls, right? I kind of just, got into the flow and just got it done. Instead of a lot of the times when I started cold calling a lot of people, when I get rejected sometimes, I kind of, start talking to myself and start kind of replaying that rejection in my hand and trying to, handle that objection when honestly I was just talking to myself and I was just stalling time to make the next call because I wanted to be perfect, right? And of course, today by cold calling, I realized, I was doing that bad habit again, right? The habit of, stalling the next call by, kind of overcoming the objection in my head, right? And I guess when I realized that, and this time I realized it sooner, so I didn't waste as much time, I realized it that, by, playing this scenario in my head wouldn't really change anything, right? Because to get experience is to go out and get experience, right? To get real life experience rather than running the scenario in your head over and over again, right? So obviously this time I realized my bad habits crawling back into me, and I kind of just stood focused and said to myself, look, just pick up the phone and call the next number because eventually the more you talk to people, the more comfortable you're going to get to handle those objections, right? So that is exactly what I did today. And, it turned out much easier than I had first imagined, right? When I first, had to pick up the phone to call people, I was thinking that today was going to be, absolute a difficult day, right? Because I haven't been cold calling and I was nervous and I was all this and that, right? But when I actually, during the call and finished the call, it was very, very simple. It's a very simple thing. So it's actually so funny how difficult our mind makes it to be just to avoid doing the work, right? Our mind will give up all these excuses and make all these imagination when really when you actually do the work, when you actually put in the action, it's actually so much easier than this false reality that your mind had made up for yourself. So I guess at times, it's not that we are feared of doing the work, that we know we are fearful or afraid. It is just that we are perhaps just uncertain. We are uncertain whether the thing we are doing will work. We are uncertain whether the script we have will, work. we were just uncertain about going into doing this thing. This is why out of uncertainty, we create this feeling of fear that kind of holds us back, right? Because we are uncertain, right? At the end of the day, we are not doing the work because we are unsure if it will work or not, right? If we are 100% certain that if we call this person, everything will go well, and during that call, we will close the client and make money, then there will be no such thing as fear of calling. There will not be such thing as anxiety, right? If you know for 100% if you can approach this beautiful lady and she'll say yes and she'll sleep with you that night, there's no reason for you to hold yourself back, right? But because it is uncertainty, we are uncertain if it's going to work or not, we create this emotion, fear, that clouds our reason, and then that holds us back from actually doing the work. When in reality, it is so much simpler than our mind made it to be, as complicated as it really isn't that complicated, guys. But that being said, guys, apart from, doing the cold calls today, obviously I only done 30 cold calls, so I had a lot of time to do other things, right? I guess what I just prioritized myself was not to, go back into my old habits. That means like don't fill up the time I had left to, watch YouTube or watch movies, right? Because that was, the habits that I picked up during my break, right? But that doesn't associate with my kind of work schedule now. So my priority was just, not kind of, unconsciously fall back into those habits and, become lazy and kind of contradict my identity that way. And I guess if I found it pretty simple to stay away from those things because, at my mind, it was kind of like a light switch. If it was either break or no break, right? If it was break or work. So when I was, on my break, I had, all these bad habits that I picked up. When it's work, I found it more easy to discipline myself because, I, again, made this moral bargain with myself that I had a week to rest. So the next 3 months, I'm going to just, work and be dedicated at working. And I guess that way, and really kept up to my promise from the break, right? When I actually embrace my break, then I can actually embrace this 3-month work period, right? Because I don't find it too tempting to go back into the old ways because, to be honest, it's not really who I am. I don't really enjoy doing all those stuff, right? So I didn't really find it hard to stay away from them, right? But that being said, guys, that doesn't mean that, when today or, for example, in the near future, I won't think about them. I'll definitely still think about those distractions. I mean, I still did today. I just didn't give in to those distractions, right? I think it is impossible to just kind of turn all the distractions off. I think it's very, unrealistic to kind of just, say no to everything that distracts you, right? Distraction will come and go. That is like inevitable. I guess what you can do and what you can only do really is just, stay focused, let the distraction arise and just realize that it is only a blip in the radar, right? Just let it, go away. It will eventually go away if you focus on what is important, right? So no matter what that task may be, just focus on that one little task and finish that first before you can do anything else, right? So even if you have a productive day set ahead, attack one task at a time, right? If you think about all the things you have to do today, that is still, a part of distraction that you're distracting yourself from doing one thing at a time, right? Do one thing at a time, but have your list of things to do and try complete those during the day or during the week, right? And if you are task orientated, you wouldn't be, giving to these distractions because distractions only come in the first place is when you become bored, right? When you're bored, you have nothing to do, and then the distraction that arises during the day will become pretty appealing for you to hook onto. So really, it's just having your day kind of packed with productive tasks, and even at times you don't want to do anything, right? Just do something or don't do anything. But if you want to do something, make sure the thing you're doing isn't, contradicting your identity, right? So if you're working and you don't want to work for the few hours, don't just go and watch some, YouTube videos on how to, I don't know, build houses or whatever, right? Whatever you guys find entertaining, right? But you get what I mean? If you have time to spare, maybe go up and walk around, or maybe just read a book, or maybe just meditate, or maybe just, have a nap, right? But don't do anything that robs your focus in a way that is more interesting to the thing you're doing now, right? But that being said, guys, this has been my Monday. It's been a good one, guys. I actually enjoyed today, and I will enjoy the following weeks and month, right? Because I feel like this is who I am. This is something I enjoy doing, and I don't feel guilty of doing work, right? Because I know what I'm doing is right, and what I'm doing is gonna put me into the position I will be in the future. Although I'm still far from where I want to be, by keeping this little small improvement will eventually get me to the finish line, guys. But yeah, guys, this has been my Monday. It's been an amazing day, starting the week off strong, and hopefully you guys are doing that too. And if you guys found this valuable in any way, then, thank you. That is my goal. But if not, I have something for you guys tomorrow. So, see you guys then. Bye bye.